Carrie Fitzsimmons.
And I'm Lacey Wilson.
And this is our last show for a while, but we're thrilled that you're joining us tonight. Lacey, we have a couple different segments tonight.
We do. Later this hour, we will actually have our mothers on the show tonight. And hopefully they won't reveal any too many embarrassing details.
That's key word there. Hopefully.
And right now, we have Joan Copeland with JJK Security here to talk a little bit about her show and hopefully offer a little self-defense tips for the ladies out there who are watching tonight. How are you doing, Joan?
I'm doing okay. My show, Joan Copeland's Forum, is on Sunday nights from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I've got a little problem with the show, and that is I don't get a lot of callers because of the fact that it's, church night. And if I do get callers, they'll wait until maybe 10 minutes before the show goes off. And then, it doesn't make for a good show. So half the time, Joan Copeland's Forum turns into Joan Copeland's Comedy Hour because, I just say a bunch of funny things since I'm a comedian. But it's the kind of show where I wish people would call in and tell me what's bothering them, just bring up a subject, and we'll talk about it because that's what a forum is.
So what type of advice do you offer the callers when they do call in?
I hadn't... Since the show started, I hadn't had any questions of any advice. It's just been people that, when they do call, they say something like, that we enjoy watching your show and glad to, to see you back on the show again. But they don't ask me any advice really about anything.
So what advice would you give to a woman of today? Maybe she works in a bad part of town. How can she stay safe?
One thing is to always be aware that there is danger in this day and age around you, and there's a certain look when you walk. If you walk like you don't give a what, okay? I can't say the word because it's not my show, and even if it was, I couldn't say the word. But if you walk like you're a toughie, like you're not afraid of anything, and you give that that look. Criminals stay away from people like that. If you walk and you've got your pocketbook, and you're looking like this, and you're very nervous and everything, that's what they call prey, and that's who they'll go after.
So you have to kind of put out a positive, confident mannerism.
Yeah, and if I may suggest that everybody carry a gun today with fully licensed. When I go someplace late and I'm not in uniform, I actually have my hand in my pocketbook with my hand on my gun. But and it doesn't you should, and you've heard this before, you need to have your keys ready. Don't go to the car even in the daytime. Don't wait until you're at the car and start fumbling for your keys because again they're looking for prey. But if you have that kind of a look. Then you're not what they're looking for.
What if there's a female out there who's perhaps never owned a gun, doesn't really know how to start or how to be trained? What tips would you give her?
Well, she should at least have a knife or something, something to defend herself, and just have that kind of attitude, because they're looking for weak people because they're weak themselves.
Joan, tell us a little bit about your company.
Well, my company is JJK Security and Investigations, and that's supposedly at this time is going to be the name of my reality show, which will be seen on the AMC network this summer, unless they change the name, which I hope they don't,
So how did that come about?
That came about because I've got a big connection in Los Angeles with the William Morris endeavors, and I can't really say anything. I can't,
They'll have to tune in to find out.
They'll have to tune in, yeah.
And that's this summer, correct?
Yes, it should. They're talking about possibly July, but I don't know yet.
But you do have a Facebook page, and you do have a website.
Yeah, I guess I do. I didn't look at it.
I saw the Facebook page earlier this week, and it was very, very good, very informational.
And my security company, we're of course detectives also, and we do security patrol and put guards, different places, and we do personal protection, we serve subpoenas. And if any of you ladies that are out there, if you'd like to come to my office at any time, and I'll show you some safety tips, how to keep yourself safe. I'll be glad to do that at no extra charge. So there's even something that you can do with a knife. If you have a knife and you're confronted by a criminal, there's a certain way, which I can't show it now, but of course if somebody comes to my office I can. There's a certain way to stand and hold the knife, and when they see that, then they know one or two things. They know that you've either been in prison and they don't want to mess with you because you've been in fights, or they think that you're in law enforcement, just by the certain stance. Because these are weak people that prey on, mainly on females.
Very good information, Jan. And hopefully maybe we could work with you sometime in the future and get some training going for women
I'll do
our
it for
age.
nothing, really, because I've got two daughters. One is 27, and the other is 28, almost 29. One is an actress in Hollywood, another is a colorist in Atlanta. And 24 hours a day I worry about them, because that's all I hear is this woman missing and that woman missing, and it makes me want to just...
I bet they look up to you, though, for the line of work that you're in.
Well, believe it or not, they don't. One of my daughters, the one that lives in Atlanta, said that she was constantly embarrassed when she went to Ringgold High School because I'd pick her up in my burglary patrol car, and she said that still affected her, so...
What made you want to get involved in law enforcement and security?
Excuse me. I wanted to be a police officer years ago, but I couldn't at that time, so that was the next best thing. So then I went ahead and was lucky enough to go to the police academy. And since I went to the police academy, then the state of Georgia gave me a license to train, a license to have my own company, and it just stemmed from that.
Well, it's wonderful, Joan. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. Do you want to let the viewers know one more time where they can catch your local show here on UCTV, and also your show this summer? Okay.
I would, like I said, I wish I could talk about my show this summer, but there would end up not being a show this summer, believe me. My show, Joan Copeland's Forum, is on Sunday nights from 9 to 10, and sometimes, and this is what people like, sometimes I get a little risque, but I don't go over the line. But I say a lot of funny things. I've mentioned my grandmother's girdle before and things like that, so I'm just trying to be funny, and that's one of the reasons why I don't get a lot of calls, is because people say that they watch the show and they want to see what kind of crazy thing I do next. But I really would like to get into some deep topics, so on Sunday night, let's have somebody call and discuss this Zimmerman problem, which if it's going to continue escalating, then there's going to be riots.
We had talked about that earlier before the show, too. So maybe get a local perspective on something that's happening
so
on
we need that, I can say this because it's funny. We need riots like I need a bigger tuchus, so. I can say tuchus. I told Judy I'd always say tuchus, so. Everybody just ran out of the studio. Next question. What's a tuchus? You're sitting on it. Anyway, I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Joan. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Kasasa? Do you have a free checking account that pays you cash? Cash like greenbacks, cash like, hi, I'm Johnny, cash like this. The massive interest you get just for putting your money into a free Kasasa account. Kasasa. A new word for a checking account that liberates you with no minimum balance and ATM refunds from sea to shining sea. Do you know where to get more cash? If you Kasasa, you do. Do you Kasasa?
Don't just bank. Kasasa, only available at America's finest community banking institutions. By now, you know we have an elite teaching hospital right here in Chattanooga. But did you know we also have an elite teaching hospital just for kids? Children's Hospital at Erlanger. A leading pediatric teaching hospital, one of a few in the entire nation, with physicians from virtually every pediatric specialty. The same cancer treatments and protocols you'll find at other nationally respected hospitals. Advanced technology just for kids. And people who devote their careers to caring for these special patients in a very special place. The region's only pediatric teaching hospital. Children's Hospital at Erlanger. The right place for kids, right here at home.
Gateway Bank & Trust is pleased to continue bringing high-tech community banking with professional customer-oriented service to North Georgia and our surrounding areas. When you enter our doors, you are greeted with that hometown friendliness that you have come to expect from Gateway Bank & Trust. Large screen TVs surround you, telling you about the various services that we offer. Stop in at one of our convenient locations and let our dedicated staff assist you with any and all of your financial needs. Gateway Bank & Trust, where our customers are our top priority.
Casasa? Do you have a free checking account that pays you cash? Cash like greenbacks, cash like, hi, I'm Johnny, cash like this. The massive interest you get just for putting your money into a free Casasa account. Casasa. A new word for a checking account that liberates you with no minimum balance and ATM refunds from sea to shining sea. Do you know where to get more cash? If you Casasa, you do. Do you Casasa?
Don't just bank. Casasa, only available at America's finest community banking institutions.
By now,
Well, we're back. Segment 2. Lacey, we have switched seats.
We have. I'm not used to sitting this far away from you. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit.
I just want to.
Well, you know, Brian says we have the two women on set who are responsible for this mess that we call Gurlfriendz. Yes, verbatim. Quote from Brian in the control room. Yes. But this is my mom, Debbie.
And this is my mom, Kim.
And we thought, since this would be our last show for a while, that we would invite our mothers on, who are the biggest inspirations, female-wise, in our lives. So we hope you'll call in and ask any questions, and hopefully they won't reveal any embarrassing details of our youth.
Fortunately for us, there are no baby pictures involved.
Oh, no, that's good. That's good. Yeah, we didn't submit any, though. We're good.
Oh. So what was Lacey like as a child? I heard you and my mom over there talking, and I know my turn's coming up next.
You know, I think what she said, I'm going to jump in here, but she actually said, I have an older sister, but if I had been born first, there might not have been another one. Apparently, I was a difficult child, so I'll go ahead and throw that out there.
Well, he was always a joy, but when it came to things like getting you away from the bottle and getting you to potty train and things like that, you were not an easy child.
And then it's funny because my behavior as a child when it came to food is still the same as it is today, and my coworkers are actually a little bit afraid of me. If it gets to be around 11:30, 12 o'clock in the afternoon and I have not had lunch yet, they call me hangry at the office, which is a mixture of hungry and angry. So I guess
get
that's
that
still
way
the same.
sometimes.
Well, see, that makes me feel better that I'm not alone.
Not alone.
But I don't know. What about Carrie? What was she like when she was little?
She was a delight for us.
What's next? But
I could tell you a lot of stories, but she was an only child, so a little bit, not really so badly spoiled, but just a tad.
well,
just a tad.
whose fault was that?
Your father.
Now, you were saying earlier that Carrie keeps you guys young.
Yes, she does. She's always been one of those people who's involved in everything that's going on. So we have just always, whatever project she was having involved in, it was usually our project as well. But as far as
Now I'm trying to be your personal trainer. You're the daddy, so still
she's
Zumba.
not good to me, yes.
Zumba, yes.
And she actually made her debut in the Zumba video.
And let me just apologize because if you saw this,
That was my favorite segment, though, I
Lacey
think.
was back there doing so wonderful.
No, I was
and
not.
They have this thing in Zumba that says pivot. And when you pivot, you're supposed to turn the direction that everybody else does, but I never make it. So I'm just in my own world back there.
But we
so.
have fun.
We do, yeah.
Oh, we got a phone call. Hello.
Hello, ladies.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm glad you brought your mother song tonight.
Thank you.
I want to ask a question that might be off limits. The girls might want me to ask this.
Go right ahead. We're all the information you want to know.
Tell all.
And I'm on a cell phone, so I'll hang up after I ask so I can hear you better.
Okay.
And everybody can hear you too better. What were they like as teenagers? We all know that we're sweet little girls when we're little, but were there any times that they were particularly rebellious like some children are? Of course, I never was. But
No, I will. Debbie, you want to answer first? I'll let you go first.
I'm going to hang up so I can hear you.
Okay, thank you for
Thank
the
you.
question. We appreciate it.
Well, I'll have to say that Lacey was never any trouble as a teenager. She was always into positive things and involved in school activities and sports and just hung around with a great bunch of kids, and we never really had any problems out of Lacey. Feel blessed that way.
Thanks, Mama.
And I think, with Carrie, we were really blessed as well. I mean, she was just a very good girl, very involved in the community and community activities and that type of thing.
And Lacey and I, we actually went to high school together.
Yes, and I was in journalism, and you were too for a little bit, right?
When you were the editor of the yearbook.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. That was fun times.
That was.
It's a good class.
Hi, caller.
Oh,
Hey.
this is your name.
Hey, Nan.
I was about to say, it sounds like her.
I wanted to say about Carrie. When Carrie was a little girl, she knew where Chattanooga was. Right?
Yes, I
Yes.
did.
You knew where what was?
Chattanooga.
Oh.
Where you're driving down Highway 2 and you can hit McFarland and then you see all the lights.
Yes.
I always would point and say, Chattanooga.
Oh,
By
right
the
above
time-
the rock
And
quarry.
by the time
okay.
she was 2, she could read all the fast food signs. She knew what they said.
Thanks,
Even-
Mom. Well,
McDonald's.
But she doesn't eat fast food now. She's very healthy, but
I do sometimes.
Well,
I still like my chicken McNuggets.
she's very health conscious now. But nevertheless, she could read all the signs. She would say Wendy's, McDonald's. So I think that was more. You're talking about the pictures that you saw, but we always said she can read while she's 2.
What was your first word?
Hi.
Was it?
Hey, Nan. Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Well, good.
I hope that y'all are not off the air very long, because Your little show is very interesting.
Aw.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Nanny.
you, Nanny.
Looking good. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So sweet.
What was your first word?
I think it was Dada.
It was Dada.
Sorry, Daddy's girl. But this is my dad. I think they didn't know if I was going to be a boy or a girl, and if I was a boy, it was going to be named Matthew. Turned out to be a girl, and I think my dad's first words were, "Oh, it's another girl."
Exactly.
So pretty much. But I thought it was fitting. My first word was Dada.
But I'm sure you love baseball, right?
I do. I'm a huge sports fan. I was much of a tomboy growing up, except for, on Sundays and stuff, we would get the dresses out and do the curly hair, sleep in the sponge rollers.
Yes.
You have those?
Yes.
Yeah.
Been there.
The curly cues, yeah. And then, but as I got older, I was still just jeans, t-shirt, sports kind of girl. And then, of course, when you get out of college and start working, you kind of have to start dressing up a little bit.
Yes.
So I got in touch with my feminine side, I guess. Okay, so we're taking a little bit of a hiatus. I keep saying it's like the season finale for a while. So what are you going to do with your spare time?
Well, to be honest, Lacey, I said I was trying to be her personal trainer. I'm going to try, keyword there, group certified for exercise.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yes.
so what kind of exercise would you be teaching?
Like group classes.
Aerobics.
Hopefully
Aerobics
yeah.
or Zumba? Could you teach me Zumba?
I'll try my best.
That was my favorite segment, though, among
and that
many.
was one of our first ones.
It was, and we had the camera, and it was kind of spanning the room down there at Curves in Chickamauga, and she was just doing her little shimmy in the
But
background.
she was making faces at the camera behind the scenes. I don't know if that made it to camera.
No, it did. It did. Sorry, I keep hitting the table. But if you go to YouTube and search Gurlfriendz with a U and a Z at the end, you will find our Zumba video. Don't watch the uncoordinated tall girl in the
Lacey,
middle back row.
You really did well, though. In
I
fact,
had flashbacks to, do you remember going to the skating rink and they would do the hokey pokey?
Yes.
And I didn't know my left from my right at the time, so I would always turn the wrong way, and I felt that way when we were doing Zumba.
well, the lady down at Curves, her nickname is Farrah. They always call her Farrah. In fact, I think you know her nephew or her.
Which one is it?
She has blonde hair. But anyway, she's down at Curves. And she told me one day when Mom and I went back.
I do know, yes, Bobby's
yes,
aunt, yeah.
She said that you were awesome and that you should come back.
Yes.
I do need to come back, but I'm going to try to get this one to go
Maybe
with me.
we should all go together.
Thank you. That's where I get it from.
Do you know, I think with anything in life that you do, whether it's Zumba or trying something new, just the excitement of doing something different than what you're normally used to is a challenge sometimes, especially when you get to be my age. But, I think that if you try it, though, you can just really realize how much fun you can have. Because I was like, when Carrie came and said, Mom, we're going to do Zumba, and I'm like, no, I'm not. But it was so much fun.
Hey, at least I didn't make you do yoga.
Is that next on the list? Because I'm checking out
We actually took a Pilates class
Y'all did
together.
Pilates?
Oh, great.
And it was fun. It was at the First Baptist Church there in Fort Oglethorpe.
Yeah.
But it was a lot different than I thought, and I actually really enjoyed it. But I have no dancing background whatsoever. Never did dance, never did cheerleading. So trying Zumba at first, but they say you get the hang of it. You start to get a little bit better. So.
And even if you don't, you can laugh, and that's the most important thing. I think is just being able to laugh at
They
yourself.
say you can burn calories laughing. So.
Yeah. Now, have y'all always lived in this area?
Yes, we have.
You
Lacey,
grew up in Lafayette.
I grew up in Lafayette. My husband grew up in Tryon.
Okay.
And we lived in Rossville when the girls were growing up. So we've always been around in the North Georgia area.
And now we're all in Chickamauga. Just moved right down the road. But it's nice to have family close by.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yes, it is.
I tend to call her every now and then when I need to work late or I've got something going on, and she'll go over and take care of my dog for me.
I love
very
my
nice.
grandpuppies.
Grandpuppy.
Yes, and my grandkittens.
I have grand dogs, but I don't feel the same.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have two. I have a Cocker Spaniel named Millie, and then I have Barney, and he's just a mix. And Mom and Dad, they don't mind Barney so much, but Millie's she's kind of the little prissy dog that she kind of has a snooty attitude.
And she's the Cocker Spaniel,
She's
right?
the Cocker Spaniel. And Barney's just like, well,
She doesn't obey her grandmother at all.
What about shedding? Do they shed a lot?
Well, Millie, I try to keep her cut short during the warmer months because her hair is just so thick. So in that aspect, she's got a little bit longer hair now, but that's going to all change on Saturday when she gets her hair cut.
She'll get shaved.
And bows. She'll have bows in her hair.
Cute. Well, Carrie, thinking back over all of the guests that we've had on the show, what was one of your favorite moments?
You know, I have a couple that really stand out. First of all, anytime Stephanie
Yes,
Dickert
Dickert
came was just phenomenal because she's just so wise and so full of knowledge. But I really enjoyed the breast cancer episode because I felt like it was raising awareness for women. And then we had, I forget her name right off the top of my
Kim.
Yes, Kim. Kim. I shouldn't forget that name.
My.
But we had Kim on, and she was just so encouraging, and the way she talked about her fight was with just, I mean, she just had a lot of joy in her.
She's definitely an inspiration.
She is, and that stands out to me. And then Miss Wilma.
Miss Wilma Pickle
would come on.
and the cupcakes. I loved the tie-dyed icing.
Yes, that was a fun episode. But Zumba ranks up there as well.
Zumba too. And do you know one of my favorite moments, and maybe this goes back to food, but the night that we had David Carroll on the show,
that was fun.
I had not gotten a chance to get anything to eat. I worked over a little bit, and then I came straight here from work, and so my stomach was just growling, and I thought, how am I going to make it through a whole hour? And then out pops the peanut butter and
That
chocolate
was so
milkshake
sweet
from
of him.
Roy's. That was very sweet of him, so we were thrilled. We actually got a lot of callers that night, too.
We did. And then when Jill came on to talk about the goat soap, we got a lot of callers.
I was at the Flintstone Farm and Garden store this weekend, and they had
Did you go to
some-
their spring festival?
I did.
I did too.
Did you?
I did.
What time were you there?
Like right when it opened.
Okay. Oh, well, maybe we just missed each other. I got
Maybe.
there about 10, 15,
To
10,
see the
30
little
or so.
bunnies?
I did. I tried to get one. She wouldn't let me have. When I was little, every year around Easter, everybody had the little white bunnies with the red eyes.
Yeah.
Always wanted one. Always. I think they got me a stuffed one year, but I always wanted a little bunny rabbit. But we had a Cocker Spaniel growing up too, and I don't think they would have gotten along very well.
I had a bunny when I was growing up, and so I knew what we were getting into. So I kept saying
They
no.
chew on everything. I
Your
guess.
mother does know best.
That's right.
Hi, caller. Are you there?
Yes, hi guys.
Hey.
And I've already told you on Facebook I'm sad about you.
Is this Nanette?
You know, I'm one of the ones kind of know what you go through to get this on every week.
Oh.
Hello? It's not an easy job, is it?
It's not. And, you know, a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, people might think that we just, you know, come on every Thursday, but there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that's quite time-consuming. It's fun, but it is time-consuming.
We're just rounding up a guest every week.
That's true.
And plus, getting there every week. Hello? We've got busy lives and other jobs.
Yeah, and then there have been a couple times where our guests haven't been able to make it at the last minute, and then, you know, we've had to think about
Just ad lib for an hour, which has been fun.
We have
though,
done
too,
that
yeah.
before.
Y'all are good at that, though.
Thank you.
They are very talented. Both of these girls are extremely talented.
Yes, they
thank
are. And
you.
it's nice to meet you.
Thank you. We're glad to be here.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see the mothers of the daughters.
Thank you.
Thank you. And, you know, we don't really know right now why Avenue, but we've had fun. And Lacey and I, we've known each other since high school, but Lacey, I feel like I've just grown closer to you through
I
this
know,
whole
I do
process.
too. It's been a great experience. It really has.
It has.
And I think
Working together does draw you closer together, and two of my favorite guests you've had are the ones you mentioned. David, we all love David. And,
Wonderful.
Oh, his book, I bought one of the first he had. I was waiting with bated breath. It to me, you know. And we do want a copy, number 2, don't we? Volume number 2.
Yes. I told him he needed to have a sequel.
Oh, absolutely. We've been telling that from the beginning. Plus, I want him to write a book on comedy. He is so funny.
Yes.
I don't know if you got to. Did you get a chance to catch the 50th anniversary of Miss Marcia this week? They had.
did.
Yeah, I didn't get to see much of it because I was at work, but I know they had
I saw
a
some
good
Facebook
turnout.
pictures.
Well,
What a sweet
Luther
lady.
had celebrated, and David had a big hand in that. We'd been trying to get Luther into the Hall of Fame, but, Chattanooga's not a very big market, so
Right.
they always honored someone from one of the larger cities. So Tennessee, and I'm sure David had a big hand in that, has its own now, and that's what Luther was honored in, because anybody that's been in radio that long needs to be honored worldwide for their service.
That's
true.
exactly right.
And
That's
then
true.
Miss Marcia's, and then Earl Friedenberg is fixing to celebrate his 50th. So he's been in it since he was a kid. And so there's been a lot of good years for these people this year.
One of the things I love about David, he still respects and admires the person regardless of what station they're affiliated with. It could be a competitor station, and he's still,
It's all broadcasting.
Yeah.
Someone really like that.
And he is so down to earth. He is very down to earth.
He is. He's fun. I told him we're going to have him back on the show at some point, maybe
Yeah.
in the future.
We had company over at our house, and I think that his book became our conversational piece.
It's like our coffee table book now.
Everybody's like grabbing it and saying, "Oh, I remember this. I remember Bob Randy." It's just really very informative. We really have appreciated
That
it.
was mine, too. Oh, look here. Did you remember,
Yeah.
And he has enough material, I'm sure, but that, like, putting a show on is not as easy said as done.
Right.
And it's taken a lot of his time to go everywhere with his book, and of course he enjoys that as much as anything. And, he was instrumental in the movie, getting the young man, in the movie about the young man that took his wife from, that's the movie that's just come out. On
the bullying movie?
the bullying movie.
Oh yeah.
He was instrumental in getting that family involved in that, and perhaps even talking to the producers about the movie. But he was instrumental in that, and they were on Ellen. I had the privilege of seeing that. Yeah, the family was one afternoon.
They're from Chatsworth, right?
I can't remember their name.
It's somewhere in Murray County. Yeah.
But they're from Murray County. Precious family and a precious young man who had autism and tried to mainstream it in school, and you know how cruel kids are.
So
yes,
sad,
they
so
can be
sad.
very mean.
And they're just not taught at home. Isn't it sad? So many kids are never taught,
I think
That's
it's
why I'm
that
glad
adage.
that Lacey and I have had good examples at
I think
home.
it's that adage too. We grew up, and I know Debbie probably heard this growing up. Your parents used to say, if you can't say something good about somebody, then don't say anything at all.
That's right.
But people have kind of lost that, and it's so sad that has happened.
That's
but
true.
Oh, it's absolutely true. I had a grandmother that had such an influence on me, and you talk about a Southern lady.
Don't you love them?
What you said, the way you acted, your manners and everything. And some kids have never been taught manners.
That's true.
You see that a lot out in those restaurants you knew the name of. Hello?
Yeah.
Demanding everything they want at the moment and screaming to the top of their lungs if they don't get it.
Exactly.
And the sad part, a lot of parents who never get to see those kids, both of them have to work, but they think that's so cute. And it isn't cute
No,
at
it
all,
isn't.
is
It isn't.
Well, you all have a great, great day and evening with your mothers. Maybe, I heard you'd already had that bite to eat. So
Maybe we can get dessert.
Thank you so much for
Thank
calling.
you.
But I love Jill on there, too.
Oh.
Second one you mentioned. Well, y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hi, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, that lady there by you.
Hey! How are you?
You can say better than Vestal Goodman.
Oh, you're precious. Thank you.
She's my all-time favorite singer.
And you're my sweetheart, but don't tell your wife.
Hi, darling.
Hey, I was thinking about you the other day. I wanted to come by and see you.
You wasn't down it.
I was too. I was driving down the road thinking
Well,
about
I
you.
still live the same place, but I went all the way 2 times to see you in Rome, Georgia.
Oh, he
I
did.
know, you sure did.
And
You
we
sure did.
We will never forget you for that.
That meant a
Not
lot
ever.
to me. He came all the way to Rome for my graduation.
Oh,
And my father had just died, so when we looked up and were able to see
Yeah.
our
Familiar
Betty
face.
Bobby
No,
there, it
Uncle
was
Bobby.
wonderful.
Uncle
Aw.
Bobby. It meant a lot to me.
Bobby,
And he has a precious wife too.
Hey,
We
look here,
love her.
how's CL doing?
Oh, he's just as mean as ever. I told
He's
him
probably
to call.
watching right
I
now.
told him to
No,
call.
man.
He is, but that's okay. I love him just the same.
He's a good cook.
He's a good cook. Is that what she said?
Sometimes.
Well, all right then. Y'all want to go on the Easter egg hunt with me?
Sure. Do I get to win the prize egg?
It's gonna be a few days.
Yeah, not too many though. It's rolling right around.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Love ya.
Love you.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite memories too as a kid is getting out all the little plastic cups and doing the egg dyeing.
The egg dye.
It was fun.
And the smell of vinegar still reminds me of Easter. I don't know.
Did you guys hide them?
Mm-hmm.
We did.
We tried to keep track of where we hid them though, but we usually can't even talk. We would go down to my grandmother's house, and she always had clothes out on the line, and we would put them in the pantyhose so you could see them. But there were the same hiding spots all around the yard. What about you?
Oh, well, yeah, we did. We always did it at church, and then sometimes I would do it at my aunt's house as well. But I would always get mad because I never would win the church one, and I always wanted to win the prize egg, and it never happened. And of all places, church, I was like, I want to win the Easter egg hunt.
Well, there were good prizes in those Easter eggs.
I know they used to put $1 in the plastic eggs.
That was big money back in the day.
Yeah.
They would buy you a gallon of gas.
What you talking about?
It may not be as far though now.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your sister.
She is 4 years older than me. Hi, Andrea, if you're watching. Is she watching?
I'm sure she
okay,
is.
good. I don't know if I told her I was coming on with you or not, but no, she would probably say I wasn't such a nice teenager, but no, we get along great, and she lives right down the road from us too, so it's nice to have everybody close by.
Yeah, that's great.
Hi, caller. Go ahead.
Hey, Bobby, I can tell some stories on these girls.
Oh no!
Hey.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
And you're looking good on TV. I want your autograph when you get home.
Okay, yeah, we'll give it to you.
Actually, it's good to see you and your mom on there.
Oh, well, thank you.
She has a beautiful mother, doesn't she? Isn't she beautiful?
Yes, she sure does.
Oh, thank you.
Gets it from.
Yes, that's exactly. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen Lacey's mom.
That's where I get my height from.
Hey, y'all girls have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I was teasing Brian in the control room, and I said, "You're not going to believe it when my mom gets here, but she's short." And he said, "Oh, I'm not going to believe it." And she walked in. I said, "There she is." But I take my height after my dad. He's 6'8". So my mom's about 5'6". And so people say I look more like her, and then my sister looks more like our dad. So
5'6". I think that's tall for me.
Sorry.
now, Kim, what did Carrie want to be when she grew up? Did she ever say?
Well, the President of the United States.
I told you should run. I did.
But
I have a pretty good chance right now.
she was always involved in student government and that type of thing, and she actually was very instrumental in writing the government bylaws for the student council for Ridgeland High School. So she was
I don't know
Yeah.
if it still exists today.
But you made your mark.
But she did, and she was always just very creative, big imagination. Her father says that he thinks he got his indigestion from all the plastic hamburgers that he had to eat. But she was very, very, very busy and very active in just a lot of things. But when she said, "I want to be the President of the United States," I said, "You can be whatever you want to be." So.
I
Hi,
think
caller.
that's important to tell
Yeah.
them.
Hello. I want to know, was your mother a swaggerty before?
Yes, yes. Can't you tell?
I am Imogene's daughter-in-law.
Oh, how is she doing?
Well, Brother Howell went out there, him and Becky, and Stephen went out there to see her Tuesday. She said they had one hell, fire, and brimstone, Holy Ghost thing up for the girl.
Very, very good prayer, huh?
And Brother Barry was out there too. She said she felt God's healing.
You know, I believe when people have a fervent prayer and they have faith in what they pray, that God is still on the throne and He hears and answers prayers, and she certainly has been in our prayers.
Well, I appreciate that. And I talked with her this morning. She said she felt better, and she said, I'm not saying that God's going to heal me completely all at one time, but she said, I do feel God's healing. So
That's
just
wonderful.
continue to keep her in your prayers.
Very much so, we will.
I sure appreciate it. It's good to see you on there.
Thank you.
Your dad was one of our very special people.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hi, caller. Are you still there?
Yes.
Oh, can you?
Hello, Debbie. I haven't seen her in years.
Oh, isn't she beautiful? Well, hello.
And I didn't know that was her daughter. Somebody else told me a couple of weeks ago.
Who is this?
This here's Gerald Brevitt.
Oh,
Okay. It's nice to hear from you. How you been doing?
Pretty good, I guess. How about you?
We're doing good.
I sat around thinking about you, Uncle Bodie, and all of the day. You know.
Yeah, he was a good one. We miss him.
You get fine about a lot of people. You know, I had a brother who died here a couple of years ago.
Now, which one was that?
One he called a little boy.
Okay, I remember
A
him.
couple of years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But your daughter does pay, especially about you younger.
Yes.
He's like me, you get a little older. You still, you still pretty warm. But
I think we're all getting a little bit older.
Well, now, see, we was kind of related there.
Yeah,
My
I think.
mother was married to Bodie, but that was her second husband.
Yes, and he was my uncle. He was my mom's brother.
Yeah. You remember, my mother got killed, they was in that wreck that time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I remember. She was a sweet lady.
Yeah. Well, I'll let y'all go. I'll talk to you later.
Well, thanks for calling.
Thank you for calling.
All right, bye.
Carrie, one thing as I get a little bit older, I find myself reminding myself of her when I'm driving.
Like how?
Like yelling at the car in front of me. Or, when somebody's kind of following too closely, you kind of tap on your brakes to give them a little bit of a scare. I'm not sure if that's allowed or not. But anyway, it's just, and not even just driving, but things I do on a daily basis. Or sometimes I'll look in the mirror and I can see myself starting to look like her. Do you ever feel that way?
I have.
Any habits that you have that she also has?
My mom said I'm very involved. Mom has always been very involved in community activities and that type of thing as far as, I'll say what I hope to have. How's that?
Okay.
I hope to have my mother's heart for people.
Oh, that's
because
sweet.
She has a very big heart, and if she ever sees anybody in need or hears of a need that someone has that, is within her ability to meet, she will try to do everything she can. She's a nurse, and although I didn't want to take after her in that regard, because I can't stand blood and guts.
Blood, Carrie, really?
I do hope that I can take her sense of compassion.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
How about you?
Well, not that I'm at the point where I want to have children right now, but my mom was always very supportive. I don't think I ever had a ball game or, a class play or anything where she wasn't there watching me and cheering me on. And even now, I think I appreciate it more. I can still pick up the phone and call her for advice or just, to lend an ear. And, she stayed at home with us when we were younger until we went to school. And then she started working in the school system, too. So she was always close by. So I just hope that I am to my children what she was to me. So
Very sweet.
Thank you.
maybe I have a dog right now, so I'm practicing.
And as we get older, I'm coming to realize that what we have been given in our mothers is really a gift, because not everybody has a close relationship with either their mom or their dad, for whatever reason, and so just coming to learn to appreciate that.
Yes, and I have, I have a few friends who, their mothers have passed away or they're not as close to them, and it just makes me much more appreciative that, she's just a phone call away.
Well, you girls are sweet.
We try to be, I don't know.
Still expect a Mother's Day gift.
So mamas, knowing that Lacey and I are in our 20s, what advice could you give us or give another young woman out there, just in today's time, from, being in this area of our lives?
Just go for whatever you believe in. If there's a goal that you want to do in life, don't let anything stop you. I think I remember most about Lacey when she was younger. She would say, "I can do it," and I would say, "Okay, go ahead." And she always had that attitude, and I think it's important for young girls to remember to have a good attitude and to think that they can do anything they put their heart and mind to do. And that's what I like to tell a lot of the kids that I'm around today. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. Say I can.
That's exactly right.
That's good advice.
What about you,
My
Kim?
turn? I just think that, today young women need to believe in themselves, as Debbie has already said. But if you have things in your life that you're not sure of, problems that come up, always try to look at life as being, this is only a season and it's going to pass. I may be feeling sad today, or I may look in the mirror and say, I really don't like the way my hair looks, or I don't like, but it's a season and it'll pass and there will be a better day. And a lot of times, so many times we take the day that we're having and just let that accumulate into being something that's just overwhelming to us, and we really beat ourselves up over it. But just know that whatever the day is today, if it's a really bad day and it's a day that you're going to have to, well, Debbie will understand when I say this, but maybe it's a day that you think, oh, this is really a day for a chocolate milkshake. Go ahead and drive to the Steak and Shake.
Peanut butter
milkshake from Roy's.
From Roy's. Go get your peanut butter milkshake. But have that day and then realize that tomorrow is a new setting. That's the good thing about God gives us a new day that we can just say, okay, you know what? Yesterday was really horrible and I had a really bad day, but today is a new day. This is a new day, a new beginning, and I can just do whatever that I set my mind to. And I think that's, Debbie, what you were just saying. You have to set your mind and believe in yourself, because a lot of people in the world don't believe in you. So you do have to have that belief in yourself that whatever you want to do, you can do, and just look at life as a challenge and as an adventure and a new day each day, and then go for what it is you want in life. Whether it's being a mother, you're not always having a good mother day, do you, Debbie?
Not always.
Not always, because I have put Carrie to bed and think, man, I got onto her about 7 times today. I really,
what was that about?
I got onto her and I fussed at her, and then I think, I really, maybe I scolded her too bad. And you have that guilty thing. You see those little fat hands and little chubby cheeks and little
This
curls.
was when I was little.
and you think, well, I was really, but there's always another day, and that new day brings a new beginning. So I think you just look at it.
And we're all human. I think
Right.
sometimes as humans we set our expectations of ourselves maybe too high, when we forget that we have limits within ourselves.
Exactly.
Well, and what I love about this show too is that it's kind of brought out the just the female friendships that we have in our lives. The actual girlfriends. And I love watching the TV show Sex and the City. I do, but they talk about how the men kind of come and go in their lives, or they might not always understand exactly what's going on. But the female friends in your lives are truly your soulmates. You can go to them for anything.
That's true. Very true.
Hello.
Yes, I called earlier, but I wanted to say something to the mothers.
Thank you.
You have 2 daughters that I've never seen before they started the show. You need to be very proud of them, and I know you are.
Yes.
We are.
Both very ladylike, and you can tell that they love the Lord, and I don't know, they just seem to be so sweet. They just draw you to them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you
get
so
so
much.
mad at myself if I
Thank
was,
you.
forgetting about the show, and it took me a while to get used to it being back on, and that they were there. And when I miss half of it, I get so aggravated at myself because I enjoy the show that much. And
Thank you.
the spirit that they have about them is just a sweet spirit, and it comes forth that way over the TV, and I just want them to know that
so
also.
much.
I know that Debbie feels this
Thank you.
way, probably the same that I do, and that is, and I thank you for those comments, but our daughters are beautiful on the inside and on the outside, so I'm very thankful for that.
Thank
Good
you.
girls.
And we appreciate our viewers. They may not be several tons of viewers, but we appreciate our faithful following.
Our faithful viewing, and also, Jonna Pritt and
Yes,
Stephanie Dickert
absolutely,
and Karen
Jonna.
Deck and Miss Wilma Pickle.
Yeah, Millie, who came on.
Yes,
Just
from The Amazing
The
Race.
women that we have had on this show are strong women.
The ladies at Curves,
What
they were.
was the lady's name that came last week? I think it was last week, talking about the home and marriage.
Holly Hardin.
Harley
Yes.
Hardin.
Really enjoyed her.
Very
Great
beautiful
advice.
girl. Very beautiful girl.
Yes,
She had
Holly
some good
Hardin.
points.
Her dad is Joe Hardin from.
That's why Adam
Yeah.
asked me. I said,
Yeah.
yeah, I could see that now. Yeah, they
Yeah.
favor.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
I just wanted to say that while I had an opportunity.
Well,
thank you so
thank
much.
you.
And stay tuned. I think you follow us on Facebook, right?
Yes, I do.
Well, stay tuned.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But we have had strong women, you know, and if there's a woman out there struggling with self-confidence, the women we've had on our show this whole time, I think, can prove to them that they can do it.
Yes, yes, and I mean your best advice and your support system is usually just a phone call away. If you've got somebody in your life who's you know, maybe a little bit stronger and a little more confident that you can feed off of.
And if you don't, me and Lacey will help you.
Yeah, just call us on Facebook. Oh goodness. Well, I've enjoyed the show, and you know, I actually it's in a roundabout way inspired me too. We always talk about, you know, setting goals for yourself and following through, and I actually decided to apply for a master's program online in public relations, and it's through Kent State, so
That's
I'm
awesome,
waiting to hear
Lacey.
back from that, but hopefully, I mean, I know you did it, and you inspire me.
Oh, Lacey, that's
You
sweet.
do.
You inspire me too. I always look at you, and when we're in meetings, just like the ideas you just have a very creative mind, and I
Oh, and I enjoyed that show.
that inspires me.
The crafty. Oh, we had some crafty shows too.
Jessica.
Jessica, yes, she is crafty.
Yes, she
And
is.
the little girl that comes, well, she's not a little girl, but the young woman that came, I don't know her name, that was your friend.
Jessica and Wendy, the
And then
fashion
we had
girl.
another Jessica.
We had Jessica.
Jessica Brown, yes. Yes, she was sweet. So mama.
So mama.
So mama.
You've always been crafty.
I try. I used to bead strings on yarn when I was little. That was kind of my first step, I guess.
Hi, caller.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Hey, good.
I just wanted to tell Lacey and Debbie that I see you on the internet.
That's my daddy.
Oh,
Thanks,
thanks
Dad.
for calling.
You don't have any embarrassing stories to tell, do you?
You might not should have asked.
I'm out shut on that one.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Do you remember
I ain't
her?
gonna embarrass you that bad.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you remember her saying she wanted to grow up and be on TV?
Did I say that?
Yes.
Well, you know.